When the echo chamber is pure noise, how can you filter your own thoughts? But when it's all silence, can your thoughts be too loud? Where's the sweet spot in between? According to Global Media Insight in their post, YouTube Statistics 2025, more than 720,000 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every day. With an astronomical number like that, is there any real way to stand out in the echo chamber? When there's a constant wall of videos clogging up your feed, what is the point in trying? That is the exact type of thinking that kept me from starting this channel for 2 years. Recently, I've seen a lot of videos about making, whether it be videos, music, photos, really any content, even if nobody is watching. After a few hours of watching these videos, 2 questions that have been swirling in my brain for a few years now and are especially pertinent as a new content creator have resurfaced. The first is, how can I work within the echo chamber and produce content that will apply to my just cause and push the channel toward my desired future state? For those who have read Simon Sinek, you might get what I'm going for there. The second is, how can I shut out the noise and make the content I want to make without sacrificing total creative freedom? As for the first part, it's probably one of the most difficult aspects to master, and I know for a fact that I am a mere amateur at this point, yet it's still hard to watch videos of other creators succeed while videos of mine don't. There are clearly multiple answers to how to respond to this, but the general answer that I have found is that consistency is king. Yes, flashy video editing and sound effects and all the things like that can help, but being consistent is the most important factor in everything. As Simon Sinek says in his book, The Infinite Game, the minute you have senior executives obsessing about the short game, the game is lost. Obviously, this point is related to business leadership, but the mindset applies. If a content creator obsesses about short-term growth in exchange of creative freedom, burnout will occur. Consistency will decline, and the infinite game, in this example, long-term success and personal enjoyment, will be lost. While I could discuss all the points of success in the infinite game, to talk about all those points would be beyond the scope of this episode. The main point I want to focus on is the just cause. As the book states, the goal of an infinite game is to keep playing. The just cause is a specific vision of a future state that does not yet exist. A future state so appealing that people are willing to sacrifice in order to help advance toward that vision. Though we may not like the sacrifices we make, it is because of the just cause that they feel it is worth it. For me, the first iteration of this future state would be a channel containing content that I am proud of. Obviously, you could say that about pretty much any channel, as long as the creator is happy with the work that they are producing. However, you may not see the numbers associated with what you believe is good quality content. And I would be naive to say that I don't care about subscribers. Of course, I care about them at the end of the day. But if I am creating content that I enjoy and I'm proud of, I believe that success will follow, and the consistency to keep uploading will strive me towards that future state. Therefore, the sacrifices that I'm willing to make are not seeing immediate popularity, but making sure I am consistent with output in terms of videos per week, but also willing to continue trying to develop my presentation and refine videos that haven't performed. This leads into the second question. How can I shut out the noise and make the content I want to make without sacrificing total creative freedom? In John Hughes' movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the character Cameron is plagued with the idea that only perfection will gain his father's approval, but one of the breakthroughs for the character in the movie is the realization that striving for perfection has only caused himself pain and his life to not be as successful as it could be otherwise. If you work with a finite mindset, this exact existential dread and short-sightedness could drown a channel, even if it is perceived as successful from an outside perspective. Therefore, in growing towards the future state, one would need to consider the why of what you are doing, which again, if you've read Simon Sinek, you would know start with why is one of the most important factors that he preaches. Take me, for instance. I really enjoy watching Formula One. But there are already a lot of YouTubers, podcasters, and pundits talking about the same topics, so what would be the point in trying to break into that echo chamber when I am merely a fan and don't have specific technical knowledge of how the cars work, or I'm not a photographer traveling around with them? Is there motivation for an audience to watch someone who is relatively new to the sport I've been watching since about 2020 and can only speak from a fan perspective? If I am striving for an infinite mindset, the answer would be yes, but the reasoning would be the more difficult aspect to answer. What new information or perspective could I offer that would separate me from the crowd? Again, returning to business for a second, what is the blue ocean within the sea of red ocean that would allow me to stand out? Realistically, I don't have that strategy yet. Therefore, it wouldn't be a good idea to start down that road. However, if I want to make a video or two about F1, will that detract from the other content I am making? As I'm swimming in the unknown right now, and if it's content that I'm happy with, then yes, there wouldn't be an issue with me making content like that. However, I don't want to be making content that is about a certain topic and just have a passing interest in it, but rather I would like to be making content about topics that I feel really invested in and I think that I can make transformative content about. In a similar vein, I've wanted to talk about Stephen King on the channel, but I have been reluctant to because there are a lot of videos that are already discussing topics in his catalog. But by taking up the challenge of reading and rereading his material with the goal of finishing the Dark Tower series, I will have completed a task that I have been trying to finish personally since 2017. Therefore, if the channel and the motivation provided by the channel are allowing me to finish that series and that goal by sharing it with you guys, then it would be contributing towards that just cause because it's content that I'm interested in and want to create. Yeah, I think more than anything, this is sort of a self-talk, but also hopefully just some motivation for other people. I've felt, even just in the short time that I've been doing this, that I've had a little bit of stagnation in terms of the content, and I want to expand into stuff that I'm interested in myself, but also try and gather an audience, because obviously at the end of the day, you want to be in communication with other people. I think that's part of why you're on social media. So hopefully you guys have found something interesting in this brief discussion. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope working within the echo chamber isn't too stringent or strangulating on your creativity.